Let me know when we're up.
We are.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay, we are up.
Yes.
All right, call meeting to order. I'll do the roll. Peg Zugaby.
Here.
Irene Coughlin.
Here.
Roger Marr.
Yep.
Yes. This guy right next to him. A senior moment there. Okay. Okay, ask if somebody wants to make a motion to convene the Audit and Finance Committee.
So moved.
Okay. And a second?
Second.
Okay, I'll give that to Irene. Okay. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so, there are two items. You have to review the audit draft report for REAC. That is, again, this is over, I'm not sure, you have that already unless there's any questions about it, but that was pretty clean and straightforward. And if someone can discuss it, or if someone wants to make a resolution to recommend that we adopt the 2025 REAC audit.
I'll make the motion.
Hoffman, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And I guess a motion to close the audit, adjourn the audit committee. So,
Second.
my second. Okay. Okay. Okay, now we're back into the live session. There's a resolution for the board to adopt based on the recommendation of the Audit and Finance Committee, there's a resolution to adopt the 2025 audit report.
I'll make the motion.
Okay. Seconded. Okay. It's taking longer to actually jot these notes down. Okay, all in favor? Okay. The next resolution, you also already partially did it. You've already appointed the officers. This is the second half of that of a resolution, which is to adopt our policies, reappoint officers, and instruct us to submit the Paris report. Okay. Second?
Second. Oh, you could.
Okay. 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 And there is no new business. I have no old.
This is
Oh,
REAC.
vote, yes,
Oh, no,
sorry.
there is, this is REAC.
Oh,
We do have a new business.
sorry.
Sorry.
Good. Glad they didn't follow policy. Okay, is everybody all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, now, new business. We do have a piece of new business that kind of came in a little late. Dan, why don't I ask you to walk through it?
Yeah, you guys may recall last year, the REAC went ahead and issued about $32 million in bonds for Dominican University. It was kind of the cash flow financing. They refinanced prior to
Both of them
Well,
last year.
last year. You did
And-
both. Yeah. This closed January 30th, 2025. So you probably remember the board action from 2024. Closed right at the beginning of 2025. And as essentially the financing was to refinance old bonds of REAC for the hospital, for the university, and also a small new portion of new money for some capital improvements. As part of that transaction in the indenture, there was the establishment of a repair and replacement fund, which had to be funded up to $500,000 by June 30th, 2026, which of course is coming up. Dominican has asked that it be funded up to $200,000 by June 30th, 2026, and $150,000 twice at the end of October and, September and October, to bring it up to $500,000 by October. They've had discussions with the controlling bondholder to do that. They've consented to that. There's a formal request to the REAC to do that. Just for some background, an indenture is an agreement between REAC and the bond trustee, which is UMB Bank. They're really the ones, meaning the trustee, that handles all the monies and makes sure that all of the reserve funds are funded to their proper amounts and things like that. So what this resolution does is essentially just authorizes Steve to sign what's called a supplemental indenture to allow
Extend the time.
to run out, to make the time for the full funding to go to ultimately October as opposed to June 30th. And like I said, they requested that, and the controlling bondholder has consented. So this is really just to give Steve the authority to sign not only the amended indenture, the REAC in the Dominican that also has that provision there. So this would just be to authorize those amended documents as Steve signed.
Thank you.
Sure. And this came in kind of late, I do apologize. We wanted to do our diligence before to ensure that we have control of bondholders. So, sorry for the lateness.
No. No, that
I'll
was
move
it.
it.
Okay. So Riley makes a motion, second. Is that Irene?
Yes.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and that's passed. There's no old business, so I'll read the minutes quickly. Won't bore you by going through the blow by blow, but, I'll put in all the detail in the actual written minutes. Audit and Finance Committee was convened, reviewed the audit report. A resolution to recommend the audit report be adopted was made, approved by all members. General session began again, resolution to adopt the 2025 audit report based on the Audit and Finance Committee's recommendation. Resolution to adopt policies, the report, all in favor. Resolution to adopt our policies, reappoint officers, and submit our Paris report. Motion was made, seconded, all in favor. In regard to new business, Council Dan Birmingham introduced a matter involving Dominican College's bond. I'll fill in some of the details on that. That would authorize the executive director to sign the document. Motion by Tim Riley, seconded by Irene Coughlin, all in favor. And that's it. So I'm gonna make a motion to adjourn.
Dominican University.
Dominican University.
Oh.
Yeah, we keep saying college.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Won't have it
They changed
style.
their name and we got rid of the college bonds, which was the best thing that ever happened to me. Because those were a nightmare to reconcile. Yeah, there were 4 of them and all of them had legacy errors, yeah.
Yeah.
So this year was much nicer to report on.
So, motion to adjourn, okay. All right, with that said, we can start the IDA meeting. I'll worry about some of those things after. Yeah, we're gonna have BOCES come
Oh, I
in.
thought you were gonna say something. No.
He did say we didn't vote on it. I moved.
Oh, all in favor of adjournment?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, David.
That meeting's just going on, and also get that actually.
I gotta tell you, the way we filmed this, if you look at it, I looked on my, it's like he's got a halo over his head.
Yeah, because of the light.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's not just that.
I was gonna say
It is a halo.
We gotta elevate his chairs.
No, somebody called him keys the other day and
Oh,
he hasn't
my
gotten
word.
over it, so no, none of this.
Yeah, it's funny, when the two audio people, they said, well, they don't have their big cheese, so you can't have your big cheese. I was like, I heard that.
Andy is the head that was the.
Yeah.
Well,
Good morning.
Okay, welcome.
Good
And
morning.
thank you.
Thank you.
So, I'll let you guys introduce yourselves, but actually and I won't go into it because we have, another part of the meeting, we're gonna go into detail of some of our partnerships. So I don't want to steal that element of it, but let me say, suffice it to say, we have a very successful relationship with BOCES, from our past year working together. And, they're back to kind of tell us what's going on there and talk about, continuing that partnership. So maybe with that said, Claudia, I'll ask you to guys to introduce yourselves and kind of turn the floor to you.
Happily do so. Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. My name is Claudia Murphy. I am the new executive director at Rockland BOCES. I am Kim, I like to say affectionately, Kim Bell plus adult ed. So you usually would probably have Kim here in this seat. So in October, I began that position, and transitioning into the adult ed position was Dr. Lori Kiviak. I still have difficulty pronouncing her name, so I asked if I could bring Lori as well because she's directing adult education. Under my purview is the CTEC program, which is career and technical education for high school students. Adult education program, which has the literacy, GED, Rockland Works programs, and career and technical education for the adults, and our PTEC program. So I'm delighted to be here with you today. Coming here in person is so important because I think it's one of the great ways we get to convey how much this partnership really means to us and the impact that it has in really the county and the community that we serve. Much of what we do on a daily basis is provide opportunity to change people's lives. From the high school students all the way up through the adults, we have students coming to us who perhaps the regular track isn't right for them, or life has affected them or impacted them in a way where they have to come up with new ways and new pathways for their careers. Jobs are lost or new skill sets are required. The high school environment for the kids, maybe they're not thriving as much as they can, and we bring them to our programs and they thrive and they shine. So my years of experience in adult education, in career and technical education, in workforce development, and similar to Lori's, I think we said, we were talking before, combined, we probably have 30 or 40 years of workforce preparation between us. So in that arena, we are very, very comfortable with working with our counties, working with our workforce development boards, working with different agencies to see how we can provide what makes sense for the communities that we're serving. Because where I came from in Westchester may be different where you came from in Orange, and now where we are here in Rockland County, the needs are different. So it's really important that we have this opportunity to meet with you all and see how we're serving as well. So why the IDA partnership is important to us here, in my experience in workforce in 20 years in Westchester, we had a different setup with the Workforce Development Board where grants were really drawn down in partnership with the participants of the Workforce Development Board. Different arrangement here, different processes here. So having the partnership with IDA really affords us that opportunity that we otherwise wouldn't have in this county to really start to remove the barriers, right? One of the things that the two areas where I think this partnership is really strong is that it helps us remove the barriers for our participants. And it also gives us the opportunity to bring all of our shop experiences up to the level of what students will be experiencing when they leave us and go into the workforce. So those are the two areas we struggle with on our own without the benefit of this partnership. So some of the things that we have done in the past have been improving our labs for our medical labs, and Lori will talk a little bit about that when she speaks about what her experience to help defray some of the costs of the courses that really a lot of high ticket items for equipment and for tools in the shops, such as our welding classes and some of our carpentry classes. We've been able on the youth side of the house for CTE programs really enhance our auto and collision shops to bring them up to the level of what they would be experiencing when they go to a dealership or when they go to an auto collision shop in the area. We have the benefit in CTE of our Business Advisory Council, and they meet with each of our industries. So we're getting firsthand from them. They're meeting with the teachers, ourselves as administrators, and the local people who are working in each industry telling us what they're seeing and what they're not seeing. And we try to fill those gaps. So I'm going to turn it over a little bit to Lori to tell a little bit about what her experience has been and what she's seen with this partnership in the short time she's been with us as well.
So nice to meet you all. It's been great for me, although I've only been here, as Claudia said, since middle of October, but I've been able to observe a lot, hire some new teachers in our trades classes and medical classes. And so far what I see the students doing as a direct result of your support is things like in the medical lab, we have fully stocked rolling phlebotomy carts, the beds for prometric testing, which is required for our CNA program. We also do regional testing, so that helps the community as well. So we have the privacy curtains, the bedside tables, and the setup, wheelchairs. It looks just like if you were in a nursing setting. So it's very modern and very nice. I was down there today in the medical assistant class, had some of the students practicing phlebotomy on each other, which is exciting to see, you know. I don't particularly like watching it, but I'm not going to be up for volunteering anytime soon. But we have, because of your support, we were also able to purchase these very nice phlebotomy chairs, like if you go to a blood draw lab and they're all padded with the arm that extends. So it's like a real hospital setting or lab setting, which is really terrific. And I feel like that draws in students as well. And as for the trades classes, we mentioned the welding, the auto classes, those are directly supported by IDA. The PPE that the students need, that is directly provided through funding through IDA, which would otherwise be a barrier for students because, as Claudia mentioned, many of our students come from backgrounds where they either are funded in the course to begin with, or they're on a payment plan, or maybe they have just enough for the course, but not for those additional items needed. So it's been wonderful to be able to say that you don't have to worry about that piece. This is for you. And they're very grateful. So I've met many of the students that are in the programs over there in the trades classes, and they're just so engaged, and the equipment is great. Everything's, up to date, state of the art. And they're really learning from people who we've been able to hire that are in the trade themselves. So they know directly what skills are needed. I'm not sure what else I'm thinking. Do you have questions about the program?
Shocking, I have questions.
Yeah.
Good, we love questions, we love questions.
How do you get into BOCES? If you're a student, we're talking purely students now, high school students.
Yep,
You
so,
apply?
so high school students who are interested for our CTE programs, we have right now, there's an enrollment period. So with the component school districts, the guidance counselors meet, and there's certain criteria that would be met by the recommending or referring component high school, and then they apply to BOCES for their different industry areas. We then see, based on the enrollment, some areas sometimes are more popular or fill up quickly. Electrical always seems to be really popular. Auto is always very popular. So people may not get their first choice, but sometimes they get their second or third choice. Sometimes we have to move to a lottery, either on the component side or on the BOCES side, depending upon demand. So a lot of supply and demand.
What is your approval rating and your denial rating? That's my.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't
No,
understand that.
that was good.
Yeah.
Excuse me, my point is, I'm very familiar with the high school teacher who teaches special ed. And she said the biggest issue she has is she can't get kids into BOCES.
Right. Okay, so in special ed, there are CTE special ed classes, and there are special ed specific classes. So I can't speak to special ed specific because that isn't my area,
Right.
but we have CSP classes, which are special ed classes for BOCES. So again, it's on an individual, a lot of it is on the basis of literal shop
Are you
capacity
talking
and
about
safety.
special ed kids getting into a seat?
A CTEC
For
Trades
trades
class
in general,
classes.
just trades in general.
in the trades classes. Yeah, so we have CSP classes that are available. And again, it depends on the space availability, the demand, wait list. So it varies each year. I'm really not trying to be
Okay, so-
evasive.
Let me phrase this a different way. Every year, are you at 100% capacity?
Oh yeah, and there's wait lists and we fill, and the school districts by components give us a capacity that they're able to pay for as well. So it's a balance between what the school district can send and what we can receive. So we're
And
serving
there's
the
also a
components.
space issue right now.
Physical
Yeah,
space, yeah.
But
That's
would
what I'm
it be,
hearing,
would it be
yeah.
fair to say that demand exceeds your capabilities to bring in every student?
Absolutely, and space continues to be the final frontier. Thank you for saying that.
That's why we're
Because-
putting up that building.
Correct. As you can see when you drive by, you see in our capital project now. So we need the elbow room. We're bringing P-Tech onto the campus as well in the planning of it. We're looking towards a state-of-the-art kitchen, right, that will simulate what is even bigger and better, what is out in the field for the experience. But yes, the demand is high. We do have wait lists, but it's a functionality of we will never have enough space. I don't think. I'm always thinking we build up now. What's next? What's the next way to build?
In the building trades part, do you offer OSHA courses at all?
Yes. We OSHA 10 for the youth and OSHA 30, I believe, for the adults. Yeah, because that's something that is immediately usable and identifiable in the
Well, you
field.
can't work on any state job, any
Correct.
state-funded job.
Correct. And one of the things that is great in this partnership is that the barriers we talk about for the youth as well, we defray a lot of the costs for the certification exams, such as OSHA, and any type of test that they may have to take that would be an additional cost for both the youth and the adults. So that's a big piece.
you're gonna, oh, go ahead.
What percentage of students apply and what percentage gets accepted? And then you have a reading. What's your percentage?
Yeah, so again, every year it varies. So I would have to say that this year our current enrollment is, I believe, at 864. We have a morning shift and we have an afternoon session. So we're really serving two cohorts. So it's in that time period, we're delivering the equal amount of services, right? So we try to spread it out as much as possible so that we can deliver as close to that 100%. I don't have exact numbers for you. I'd be happy to get them for you.
So if you have 860 people that you can accommodate, for example, 2 times a day, right? How many people apply and how many people get onto the waiting list? What we're trying to see is the funding that you're using to grow the business, to grow, so you have more students. First of all, would you have enough capabilities from the teacher perspective to get somebody to teach? And then once you get the room, I'm just trying to understand what is the percentage. So like 1,000 people apply, but only 860 can get into the class.
Right,
And
right.
the other.
No, I absolutely understand. It's, and again, I can get data from prior and happy to do that, but it's really a lot of variables are involved in it because of we're being fed by component districts who have from their business office the amount of students that they can send every year, right, based on the demand of the program. So we try to accommodate that and you try to stay ahead of the curve as best as we can with that because you see paradigm shifts and pendulum swings with the need for the industry. So we might have to change some of our programs and adapt them accordingly. So that may free up one space into another. And an example with that would be in our 3 to 5 year plan, we're looking towards expanding to HVAC because that's a large need in the industry. So we have plumbing that may not be as well served right now, but that's a great place where we could actually take a look at really looking at engaging HVAC on a an appropriate basis until we can have a full HVAC program. So I don't know if that answered your
And
question.
BOCES, I don't know, BOCES really doesn't control the,
Other than
doesn't
the
control
space.
the
Well, there's a
enrollment.
number of moving parts.
There's lots of variables, yeah.
If I could correct me if I'm wrong.
Say it again?
You
BOCES
get
doesn't-
applicants from the school districts.
Okay.
So if the school district doesn't apply for a child, he doesn't get in. So if, for argument's sake, Nanuet School District only wants to finance 10 kids.
Correct,
They might have 20 that want to go.
but we
So-
can only take 10.
10.
Correct.
So it's not so much BOCES that's
All those
doing
variables are
Right.
in there.
the application fee.
So what happened to the other 10 children? that
They
wanted-
sit in Nanuet High School.
That's the school district determined that they would be taking traditional education, not
And
CTE,
then
and sometimes they use a lottery
The
for that.
person who holds the key to how many
It's a
kids
school
go
district.
is the component school
Yeah,
district.
they're the
not
sending.
BOCES.
And at the risk of oversimplifying it, let's say those using your analogy, so these 10 kids from Nanuet have been told they can go. Our money is helping make sure they have the resources to serve those 10 kids.
Yeah.
You know,
In
and,
the
and,
industries that they
and
want,
beyond.
correct.
But the
Before we
point
move
is,
too far,
if like all of a sudden, if 1,200 kids or 1,600 kids wanted to go, all the components want, there's only a certain amount of space.
Room
That-
capacity, shop
That's where
capacity.
Right,
BOCES
well,
would have to
That's
set,
a limitation
but
that,
the limitation would have to come in.
but that limitation is at BOCES because of funding purposes and all that. But why does the school not send the 20 kids? I'm trying to understand.
Because they're charged tuition.
they have to
There's
pay
a,
for it.
there's a
They-
cost
They have to
attached
pay
to
for
it.
So doesn't the state
It's
help with that?
aidable, yes, it's
They
aidable.
get a certain amount of, state aid for every student, but not full, they're not fully compensated.
And
It
before we,
costs more for that Nanuet kid total to go to BOCES than to stay in Nanuet schools.
So one of the reasons why I'm asking this question is because, as you know,
Mhm.
what we lack here is trade. And you're offering that services, and we lack that. We can't get enough trades people or kids to understand trade, like HVAC, fantastic. To see a child get into this, eventually maybe he'll work for somebody, get internship, understand the business, and start his own.
Correct.
And that's what we want, right? We want people to be independent as much as they can, unless they don't have the skills to be independent and want to be an employee to a company. But the mere fact that you're teaching trade is critically important. And for us not to be able to, I understand. I get that the school has to make, but I'm trying to think, the more we push,
Yes.
the better we are as Americans.
That's
That's
what you're
another
not
debate.
dealing with.
That's a big.
You're not dealing with
Well,
what
I
we deal with
I didn't go to
every
school
day.
here, so I wouldn't, I,
No,
I
and
went to college.
it's a
you know.
great point. It's an absolute great point.
But
One
that-
of the things we
yeah.
try to do is we try to create the pathway and the continuity so there isn't redundancy, so students can leave CTE. If they're not choosing a post-secondary traditional college, they can also continue with adult education too. So that's another piece
So
of
when
career
you guys
training.
talk about nursing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where does a student from you go to?
Where do they go to?
You know, once they finish your course, where
So
do
they can go to any of the colleges. They can go begin working as a certified nurse
Yeah,
Is it
assistant.
is it an RN program, an LPN program?
So currently we have an LPN program.
Right.
We have CNA programs, certified nurse assistant programs,
Right.
and a multitude of other healthcare providers.
And
So
that's
they can
also adult
immediately-
ed too, correct?
And adult ed, yes. So the LPN program is currently adult education, yes. And that
So
is
you
and
graduate
It's really
there,
nice
we
symmetry because if we're doing projects and bringing in,
Additional
you
salary.
You get licensed.
for adults.
You got license
All,
there?
all of them.
No.
After you finish your program, you take a state test, and you, when you pass the test, you go work in
So
IR.
those certifications that I was talking about that our partnerships really helps defray the cost for the students are any number of exams. It could be an NCLEX exam for a nursing student. CNA takes the Prometrics exams. We house the Prometrics exam in the new NHA exams, National Health Association. And we provide some of those tests for the whole county in the newly developed lab that last year's partnership helped us develop. So it kind of helps feed itself,
and
if you will.
it's a very, I mean, the symmetry works on a variety level, and at the risk of oversimplifying it, what we do as an agency, let's say, we're doing a lot of data centers. And as they see HVAC, which is a big component of data centers having to be accommodated, they're pumping more people into the workplace that are qualified to work in that area. So there's a nice symmetry to us working together in that regard. And I'm just using that as a narrow example. Or there's hands off to RCC. Or we
Correct.
go into the
Or
workplace.
any
So,
of the other colleges in the county.
but the nice part is that their student base is a direct pipeline of qualified workers largely going into the workplace, particularly in adult education.
We just invited the new president of RCC. I brought him to our P-TECH program because we have an articulation through P-TECH with them for the 2-year early college high school program with P-TECH. And then he came to see adult ed prior to that. And last month, he just came to visit our C-TECH program, engaged with all of the students in the shops, asked great questions, was very impressed with the work we do there because he is very clear with the importance of our partnership with that pathway. So, and we have many articulations in our C-TECH program where students can get college credits for certain classes that they take with us as well.
Okay.
So with all that
Yeah.
as setting the
So
table,
what are you doing here?
I would have said it differently, but yeah.
So what's the question?
So what do you ask?
What are you asking us for?
Oh, okay, so
Yeah,
this year's proposal really is very similar to last year's. We had tremendous success with all of the areas that we touched upon. We're looking towards in adult education more of broadening the horizons, not only in HVAC, but in green, everything that is green. Okay, that's that. Again, we talked about pendulum swinging. I've been in workforce long enough to know there seems to be like a 7 to 12 year cycle where things come and they go away. And for a while there, they were on the roofs, all the energy and no more. So we're looking at green again, and we're seeing some funding for green, and we'd like to use some of the funding available here for green initiatives to embed them into our current curriculum or see if there's anything new and innovative out there that would help our participants with their career movement and their career pathways. For the youth, we have tremendous value in the youth house that we work on. I don't know if you all have been, and I'd love to invite you all to come to our campus if you haven't been, because it's a wonderful experience. But we have the youth house where it's a full-fledged construction house where we bring carpentry, electrical, and plumbing together, and different portions of their curriculum, they go right on site into the house and they're working together, they're working separately, just as they would mirroring a true construction project. You know, where plumbing comes in first and then they leave, and then electrical and carpentry comes in, and then plumbing comes in last. And it just teaches them everything soup to nuts of what's done there. So that requires a lot of lumber, a lot of building up, a lot of breaking down, and it's very cost prohibitive for us with what we have for our funding. So that's a huge initiative that is very project-based for the students in the youth programs, and it has a high value to it. All of the additional barriers that we spoke about with certification exams, any professional development, where we can have exposure for our green initiatives. We're very proud of our cyber security class is one of the first in New York State to be doing its own in-house certification. And we have the pathway of cybersecurity with adult ed too. So we're looking at really building that more robustly and seeing what that looks like. We kind of tipping toe into AI a little bit because we have so many restrictions of privacy for student privacy, but we want to be aware of what we can and cannot do and looking towards that foray into the future for the workforce. So really it's a continuum of what we've been doing and then looking how we can branch out into the green areas, into the HVAC areas, into hearing what our businesses are telling us that the need is or the gap that we can serve in the workforce preparation.
What did we approve for them?
Last
For
year?
how many years?
2 years ago, 500,000.
Yeah, and
And have you funded them the 500,000?
yeah, they spent almost literally down to the.
There's one outstanding, there's one outstanding receivable, I think. So-
Yeah,
so
yeah.
follow up. Sorry about that.
Yeah. More material.
Yeah.
It's been our philosophy.
So going back to Tim's question, what are you guys looking for?
Yes, so in our proposal, we articulated the complete budget to align with each of those areas. And each of the areas would delineate the green initiatives, would delineate the areas where we are supporting the students in reducing the barriers. In areas where we would have to pay an exorbitant amount for like welding supplies and the gases and the lumber for the student house, that defrays the cost to the program and to the student if we're able to support them through our partnership.
Do
On
we
average,
have
just
do we
to be
have the
clear,
proposal?
No, just, yeah, we do.
We'll do
We
that.
wanted you to hear the presentation, so you kind of were acclimated to it, and now we're gonna give you the proposal. Take a look at it.
We'll pick it up.
And
do
we
you
also
have
submitted
this
our
page,
highlights from last year.
Yes,
Sorry,
and
I'm
they
sorry to
have
interrupt
done in
you.
the annual report,
Good,
which we'll
good.
touch
Okay,
on when we
good,
go
good.
through that, which I
Perfect.
will say was fantastic. If you look at their report, what they've accomplished, the total number of students, I mean, it really is a very impressive report.
Do you have the space to accommodate this growth?
Yeah, we currently do. We absolutely do. We are, as Peggy mentioned, we are also working on a capital project. So we will be growing, and that growth will help us. Programs that move into there will free up other space that perhaps can return to shops or others. You know, there's all sorts of planning in a domino effect for the moment. Yes.
Your automotive, do you use that all the time? In other words, your adult ed, that's kind of packed.
Yes. Automotive, electrical, plumbing,
Right.
welding,
Right.
full continuum.
Just if I may,
Yes, sir.
the nursing program, you can graduate there and be certified to actually go to work. As far as the building trades, you can get some certifications for it, be it OSA, but it's the first step in a long process.
It's the first step, correct. And what we do is we invite during open enrollments, the union trades in so they can join an apprenticeship program
Right.
with the local carpentry and electrical unions. That's something that is really important for our students as well. In my past life on the other side of the bridge, I was very active in apprenticeship programs, so that's something I'm always looking into to see where we can provide that for businesses as well, because they are much more open to different types of apprenticeships now, not just the traditional trades. But yes, our LPNs can go out, and if they pass their NCLEX exam, they can begin working as a licensed practical nurse.
And I'm very familiar with the electrical industry and the union that services the Hudson Valley. I would say 40 to 50% of their membership is from a BOCES school.
It's pretty incredible. And we have students who come back, they come back from their college breaks, and they'll come back and help out, offer to help out in the shops with the teachers. We have such an incredible handprint on the county with really a respect for the work that's done in our shops. I was amazed to see it because that's your true testimonials in the students, right? And when students are coming back in all of the areas to talk to students about selecting colleges or selecting their jobs or even just to help out in a large class, because as I said, our electrical class was so big this year. Our carpentry class came in September and October and helped build a structure for them to have all their individual units on it and their boards so that we could meet the capacity, and we had to move out a classroom. So we're doing what you're saying. You're spot on with the fact that it's always changing to accommodate the space of what is going to be in demand now. So we kind of are planning, but it's kind of planning and then in 4D, because you never know when it's going to change based on either demand of the industry, when we're preparing them for, or demand from the components that they're asking us to teach.
You know, I just, like, I had occasion, I was over there and I had occasion to see like the auto shop area. You walk in, well, there was a classroom going on which was full, and then if you walked in the auto shop, you wouldn't know the difference between that and like a regular auto shop where you see the
Correct.
cars are up on lifts, people are working, you know,
Correct.
other than the fact that some of them look younger than you would in an auto shop.
Absolutely.
But they, you know,
State-of-the-art spray paint. You're looking for, now we're looking for the wrap, whatever that wrap thing is called, that
Yeah.
goes around the
wrap.
cars for the
Yes.
advertisements and whatnot. So,
And it's-
because that's what the industry said is needed, that type of work. So we're very proud of it.
and as I said, we'll go into more detail, but there's.
Yeah, so really a detailed report. And the nice thing I think about this is that those numbers keep growing. So like there was, 89 students just in the auto tech for students this year. That doesn't include adults, and that number grows every year. Builds on itself. It's
Absolutely.
really a wonderful program.
So I guess what we'll do is, obviously, thank you for
Oh,
coming
my
in.
pleasure, my pleasure.
Board through it, like, obviously now, I wanted everyone to hear your presentation before we gave the actual proposal, so there was a context, and we'll discuss that, and we'll be in touch as well.
Fantastic. Thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
your time.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
It was a pleasure meeting you.
And you have an open
Yes, thank you.
invitation anytime you want to come down and see either or both campuses. We've got
We'll see you in that house too, that's cool, I
The
saw
house
that
is
as
so
well.
fun.
Yeah.
Probably when you go to a building 7 meeting, you see it right
Yep,
there.
it's right
It's
there.
really
It's
exciting.
It looks like a house under construction for all
Yeah.
intents and purposes, which it actually is.
And-
Just forever.
As a prideful aside, the actual contractor who's working on our building project right now, our capital project, the head of the construction site and his second in command are CTE graduates and an adult ed graduate.
Isn't that awesome?
I'm like, you can't make this up. We didn't even know that. So very proud. Thank you all.
Thank
Have a great
you.
day.
Cindy,
Thank you.
their construction house sounds like mine, it's never finished.
Exactly. We build it up, we knock it down. Thank you all. Have a
Claudia,
great
we're gonna-
day.
We're gonna give you a copy of our annual report.
Oh,
just so you have it as
fantastic.
well.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Take
Thank
care.
you so
Thank you. Bye-bye now.
Actually, never actually completed the IDA.
No, I was gonna tell you,
Yes.
I used to have-
So, all right, so that was all unofficial. All right, so just we're gonna do a roll call of the IDA to officially open that. Peg Zuckerby.
Here.
Irene Coughlin. Raj Amar. Tim Rapp. Okay, we were in session. Want to move on at this point?
Sure.
Okay, so I need a motion to convene the Audit and Finance Committee.
So we'll
Okay, can I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Any comment regarding the review of the independent audit?
No.
And if there is none, then we'd ask someone to make a resolution that
We
the
accept.
committee actually not yet, we're not accepting, you're recommending that the board adopt the budget for the audit.
I'll make the motion.
Okay. Lamar. Okay, all in favor? Okay, can I have a motion to adjourn the Audit and Finance Committee? Okay, second?
I'll second.
Okay, we're back in general session. Okay, there is a resolution to adopt the 2025 audit report. Someone like to make that motion? Or there certainly can be comment. Tim Riley, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. If I'm missing something, you because I can see you looking at me. If I overlook a procedural thing. And okay, there is a resolution, next to, authorize the submission of the Paris report, our policies, the audit, the officer's reappointment. Do they have a motion for that? And the second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, moving on. Under new business, I'm going to turn it over to Heidi to kind of give everybody a discussion regarding our annual report, which you all have a copy of.
We do. And I'm also going to touch on the Paris report, just to
Yes.
give you kind of the highlights there and make sure the board is aware. So, we did have 100% compliance, which we really wouldn't settle for anything less. I would show up at your front door if you didn't get it to be, so we're good there. But I really want to say that this report, the annual report, and all the reports that you just approved are really a culmination of a lot of reporting that started back in September. And so first is the pilot payments. We did get confirmation from all 5 towns that all pilot payments were in full and on time. So that is good news. Sales tax exemption, all projects reported to us and up to Albany. No projects this year have exceeded any of their limits. All projects are aware of what they spent report to date. And thank you to Setantico, who utilized software that will now automatically, 60 days before your expiration date, notify projects that you are coming up on your expiration and to check in on us and not to make any purchases after that date. So we're really excited to have that in place. Another thing that we were able to implement this year is all of our projects are required to have carry certain insurance with our name on it, which we've always collected those certificates of insurance. But now that we have more staff, we were able to really do a deep dive, go into every project's original project report, project agreement, and make sure that they are in fact carrying the insurances that they need to. Thank you, Sydney. And make any reach out to them if they weren't, make those adjustments. So we're now sure that everyone has what they need there. Jobs and the jobs report. So these are the permanent jobs after construction. And I'm happy to report that overall, all of our jobs have really made their numbers. There were a few instances where projects fell short. We have met with all of those projects and are confident with their plan going forward that they will be meeting their numbers. Another trend that we identified was the use of third-party contractors to fill some jobs. So like quick story, the ranch, they came from Malibu. Their primary facility was in Malibu. Everyone in LA County has a car. Transportation is not a problem. They came and built a facility in Sloatsburg in the middle of nowhere and found that they really had a hard time filling cleaning staff and kitchen staff with people who had cars who could get to this remote location, too expensive for Uber, no buses go there. And so they utilized a third party to fill those jobs. And that third party brings people in a van. And so those jobs do actually exist. They're just not on the ranch payroll. And traditionally, we were only counting jobs that were on those payrolls. So we are expanding now to those contractors, we are going to expand to ask for their proof of those jobs so that we can count them in our report, which I think will fill out those numbers, because we don't want to report that a job is below its numbers if in fact those jobs do exist. So that's been a nice addition. Any questions on any of that? So that's our core reporting, and all of our bond reporting went back.
How did you find this out? Because when you asked them the questions.
Because now we're, anybody who falls short, even one job short, which could be just a margin of error or, different scope of project. But we had a meeting, just to kind of find out where they're at, what their projections are, what they're gonna be doing moving forward, which we found was really beneficial, and we will continue.
And I'll say, we use a third party for many, many years, but bringing it in-house was one of the best decisions. And your ladies have done a fantastic job putting it together. It's very impressive that you actually go beyond an understanding that what is required and why are your numbers not there.
Right.
And you find the solution to it, and then, like, this was a great thing to find, because I don't think anybody would think that far ahead.
Right, and if we didn't ask the questions, have the time to have the meetings, we wouldn't be able to identify these things. So it really has been, I think this was year 4 of kind of doing it more in-house, and we've hit the ground running now. We have a really good system, and it's really working nicely.
When did we start this last year? Right?
Well, Heidi came in, I mean, if you think about it, like, if
2022
we want to just even generically talk about compliance, we outsourced it 100%.
Right, but when did Sarah and
Heidi came in, this is your 4th year.
Yeah, so I
And she
started
started
doing this in
taking it on,
22, for the 22 report.
And then Sarah came on, Sid came on, but now we have, and I will say without going into, going on and on about it, they've all embraced it, and this is the result of this, is you have smart, talented people that look behind and say, like, for example, doesn't sound like a big deal, but capturing third party, which are real jobs,
Yeah.
real full-time jobs, that the system of the ID, not our system, the statewide Harris reporting system, would overlook
Yeah.
by significant amounts. And we're adapting based on changes in the marketplace. Third-party vendors are becoming more and more away for cost savings for company, or as in the case of
Right, the ranch.
the ranch, it's a practical necessity. So this is all good stuff, and I suspect we'll find more as we go along on other
Yeah,
things.
and I'm gonna start adding site visits to established projects, to a portion, a percentage of our established projects, so that I can continue the conversations with all the projects.
Everyone's taking my thunder, I'm getting to the accolades part of my report.
Right. Okay. All right, so ignore those
We're
compliments.
so excited, Heidi.
I know.
Everybody take back the compliments. Okay.
No, they can stay out there, but I did want to say another, I'm very excited that this year, and I know that we said this last board meeting, but I just want to reiterate, because it's such a big undertaking, that we have construction numbers to put in our actual Paris report. And thank you, Sarah, because I think I floated this idea out in like October of like, what I'd like to do for 2026 is like get construction numbers, why not? And she took it and ran with it and was like, I'm gonna do a test run for this year. And I don't know what kind of magic she performed or what threats she had out there, but every project got us their construction numbers for the year, which we were then able to add to the Paris report. So, and of course, moving forward this year, we'll have it.
We'll have it, the trick was learning how to ask the question and then figuring out the best method to collect the numbers. But I wanna say the number was over 1,300.
Yes, it's in the report somewhere, but yes,
So it's
I saw it. It's
Yeah.
13 something or 1100.
Yeah.
And it's fair to
And those
say-
numbers are bigger than the permanent, although they're temporary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
important,
They're
you know?
And every project is different, maybe.
Every project is different. It cannot be overstated.
And then I just want to give a big shout out to Sydney, who put together this annual report. So Steve and I and Sarah threw so much ugly raw data at Sid. Just, you need a legend a mile long just to understand my spreadsheets alone. And she really took it and analyzed it and organized it in a way that gives us a wonderful highlight of what we did in 2025, but also a framework for what we want to add in 2026. And it's all listed in here. So I am ecstatic about what's happening in the agency. I think we've really gone from being an IDA that was a great IDA to an IDA now that is really so well-rounded and has the ability to not only function as giving our projects benefits, but being a resource for them on how they're complying, how they're moving forward, what they can do differently, who they can reach out to the county. We've really grown quite a bit, and I'm very proud of our team.
Are you gonna post this on the website? It's gonna be part of it.
Yeah, there's a digital version that's out there that we're gonna post, but, and I'll even echo that again, just to, this report, it not only just gives that data, it tells a story. It's a very readable document. If you really take the time to take a look at it, and read it, you'll see, that it just tells a great story and covers everything from, the core of projects and sales tax utilization to our partnership to where we want to go, where we are, where we want to go. Again, well done. And, I give kudos to the team, because I'd like to say I had something to do with it, but I was anxiously waiting it like you guys were. So.
No, but, everyone must read it. Read it now, I'll wait. We know you did.
Wait a minute, I picked up on Sarah.
Oh, that's true, that's true.
That was a picture, Tim.
Yeah.
Just to clarify.
And Cindy sits down there very quietly, but yeah.
She did an
she's a
amazing
She
doer.
did
job.
really, I mean, this was more than I could have even hoped for. I feel like we should sell it on Amazon, Barnes and Noble. I don't understand why people aren't buying it.
And for me, this isn't the reason why we're here, but it gives me confidence that we're somewhat bulletproof. With all the things that go on in the state and people who are anti-IDA,
No,
here it is.
we are doing the research, we have the communications, we're getting the answers.
Well, and transparency is key.
Yeah.
And I think this shows that.
The disparity between, and again,
Yeah.
the danger of us being too happy with ourselves.
Yeah.
But there is a broad disparity between IDAs that, we kind of have a good beat on what we're doing and our results, and there are others, because I know it's a lot of beats on the beat, generic about it, that don't. And
that's-
you don't want to be them.
Well, and also but also with the addition of, I've talked to other IDs who just don't have the manpower to do this deep. And we're very fortunate that we do now have the time and the manpower to do the
And
deep
the
dive.
resources.
Sorry.
Us lawyers call this summary judgment standard, where if there's ever a case that goes before a judge, all we have to do is just hand over the record, Your Honor. Here's the summary.
Here it is.
That's summary judgment
Speaks for
standard.
itself.
Exactly.
So, and again, the spirit of us all.
Thank you for your input.
Oh, really, it is. It's very inclusive. We have great staff, but we have great legal, representation. We have a great board. It doesn't just happen.
Come on, let's go.
And each man's like.
Yeah,
Comes a time where it crosses. Right, we'll move on. All right. Is there anything else like that?
No, I'm very proud of us.
Sarah, you want to give a quick update on labor?
Sure. I mean, we're moving along. We don't have our March numbers yet, because we're not at the end of the month. We are still dealing with with discrepancies in the data from certain projects. And so we hope to get that more in line, and I will have more to you by the next meeting.
And with that said, there's no old business, unless anybody has anything.
Do we have a treasurer? I don't care. Do we have a treasurer's report?
No, we did that in the last.
Oh, right, okay.
So with that said, unless there's any objections, I'll just quickly summarize, because I know time-wise, some of us have to.
No rush now.
Oh.
No, Marcus.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I will go back to the IDA meeting called to order. We invited representatives, and again, I'll fill in the details in the actual difference from BOCES to discuss their current programs and the results of our current partnership, and also what they're looking to work with us going forward. Discussion to be continued amongst the board on review of the proposal. Audit and Finance Committee was convened. Board reviewed the independent audit draft report. The Audit and Finance Committee made approved a resolution to recommend the adoption of the report. Audit and Finance Committee adjourned. Action items: resolution to adopt by the full board the 2025 audit report. Motion was made, second, and all in favor. Resolution to submit the Paris report along with its policies, audit, and officers reappointment authorization. Motion was made, seconded, all in favor. Under new business, Operations, Director of Operations, Harry Van Der, gave an overview of the annual report. There were a variety of discussions. Again, I'll fill in a lot of the details of that discussion. Sarah Matasny, our business relations manager, gave her an update on her labor report. I was having, it's a running joke, I always have trouble remembering our titles. And with that said, there was no old business. Motion to accept the minutes. Okay, and with that, motion to adjourn. Okay.
When I asked them about the.
We're still live.
That would be a good one.
With RCC.
Yeah. Sounds like it's that. And I don't know, but I would imagine that RCC